Hi, I'm Nicole Mitchell. I'm very privileged to be the Executive Officer of Discover Aboriginal Experiences. I'm based in Sydney, which is also known as Wurrung, in the local language of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. Many people don't know, but Australia has the oldest living culture in the world, dating back at least 60,000 years. And that's something that really sets us apart as a destination from anywhere else in the world. And we really wanted to ensure that we were showcasing our culture with authenticity and respecting our Indigenous cultures and peoples of Australia. We built this portfolio called Discover Aboriginal Experiences to support the Indigenous businesses and communities. We have 48 members offering over 200 amazing experiences in urban and regional locations. And really importantly, a lot of people have the perception that you need to go to an outback or, a long way away to see Indigenous culture, but it's in every part of Australia. So you can see cultural experiences in Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane, for example. And we have experiences ranging from an hour to immersive overnight experiences. Discover Aboriginal Experiences is designed to support the Aboriginal tourism industry and importantly ensure cultural preservation. It's a story that has to be told to be kept. I've often heard that from our Indigenous elders in telling the story. We deliberately have a strict criteria to be a member of Discover Aboriginal Experiences. The experiences are either Indigenous owned, or if they're not Indigenous owned, they have a relationship with the traditional owners and the communities of the areas that they're operating. But most importantly is that every experience is Aboriginal guided. So it's the person who owns the story who's telling the story. And I think the most respectful thing that we can do, or travellers can do in coming to Australia, is ensuring that they're going out with an Aboriginal guide. And that's not just in one location, on arrival in Sydney, for example. That's in each location because our culture is so diverse. There's actually still 120 different languages spoken in Australia. We have our beautiful Harbour Bridge, which most people know and love, and often they might go and do a climb over Sydney Harbour Bridge. But we have an experience in the collective called Burrawa Indigenous Climb. So you do this climb with some fantastic Indigenous guides. You still get all the information about when the bridge was built and how many steps and the elevation. But what you also hear is the stories of Sydney. You might look out at Bennelong Point, for example, and you'll hear the stories of the people. You'll understand about the culture of Sydney. You might hear about the whale dreaming story. Or you might be up in the Daintree National Park, for example. Going to the Daintree with an Indigenous guide really brings that nature to life. We're all interested in wellness and different flavours and different foods, so you can try maybe some bush tomatoes, or I once had a really sore throat and was given some green ants to try, which perfectly numbed my throat. So there's so many different and diverse experiences that you can do, whether you're on our coastal waterways or maybe you're an adventure junkie and you want to go on a quad bike or sandboarding or getting out and doing a 3-night, 4-day walking tour in Tasmania. There's something in it for everybody, and I think that's the thing with cultural experiences. A lot of people know and understand about Indigenous art and dance and maybe what a corroboree is. But if you're going to the Great Barrier Reef, you can go with Dreamtime Dive and Snorkel. You've got these fantastic Indigenous sea rangers who your experience starts from the moment that you hop on the vessel. You're learning about culture, about customs, the stingray story, and that brings that whole coastal environment to life. So when you get out to the reef and you jump in the ocean with your Indigenous guide, you've got a greater understanding of the environment that you are. You're also feeling very welcomed. We have a traditional welcome to country ceremony on a lot of our experiences. So there's something in it for everybody. On a day-to-day basis, we're working with Aboriginal communities, we're working with our members. It's a continued learning for me that we're hearing their stories, they're sharing. We speak to them in terms of the stories that they want to share. We like to call our guides our storytellers because they are telling us their personal stories. They're letting us into their home, if you like. We collaborate them in terms of how we're marketing their experience, and we also work with them from a mentoring experience, so understanding different cultures globally, because they're really excited that people are interested in their culture, and they also want to know about the cultures that they're going to be visiting, their experiences. I have the most wonderful friendships and partners, and I've learnt so much from our Indigenous peoples of Australia about, we talk about sustainability, for example. Sustainability is 101 at the heart of our Indigenous culture. So it's great to get on country with these humorous, fun guides who are really privileged that our travellers actually want to come and hear about their stories that have literally been handed down to them over generations, whether they're in the Daintree and they're sitting by the beautiful river and, their elder, their auntie, their uncle in their community is handing down these stories. I absolutely love going out on tour and seeing the reaction of people when they're on tour. And it's that real sense of connection, and it's bringing the landscape to life. But it's all about the people. I know when we travel, it's the memories that we bring home are about the people that we've met, as well as the things that we've done. And I think that's the most transformational thing that I learn. I think that I also see is people see this as a modern culture and an evolving culture, and that there's, often when we think about Indigenous culture, we might think about historical facts and not necessarily that it's a modern culture. It's important to know about history, but it's important to see how people are practicing their culture. What I absolutely love most about my job is I get out to go on country with these experiences and see travellers firsthand enjoying the experience. So whether they're doing a dot painting art class or they're zooming down a hill that's near an Aboriginal midden site on a quad bike and stopping to see that, they are surprised, they are entranced, and they're transformed. They're learning personal stories that they never could have imagined, they never could have read in a guidebook.